Hello everyone, Yaksamash. Welcome to Wrench Reads, number 1, Diary of a Lonely Demon, the first of the trilogy of Morgalla. Today I am going to start on what is going to be surely a fairly large undertaking, reading John David's book. The first of 3, as I said in the introduction. Hopefully you folks with the copy that I have can follow along, and if you don't, the link is in the description box to his Amazon page. But first, I would like to read what is essentially the introduction given on Amazon. Not really going to comment on it, not really much to comment on it, but then I would like to get started. So hopefully you all have your copies. I have mine. And, well, let's get started. And I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'll try to keep it shortish. But if not, if you see me adjusting my outfit, you'll know that we're getting a little bit further into it. So, all right, shall we get started? This is the product description of Diary of a Lonely Demon. You can find it on Amazon. Morgalla is a young woman with a dark secret. She's a demon from hell. Nobody's perfect. Upon one of her many visits to Earth, disguised as a human, she meets a young man who shows her kindness she has never known. Does she dare to show her true self? Can a human being love a demon? At the same time, a plot unfolds that will put the human race in jeopardy. An epic battle of good versus evil ensues, and the true meaning of love is revealed. I'm not going to spoil anything, but to my friends who have actually read this book, you'll know how much bullshit that is. But I will say one thing here. Can a human being love a demon? Who could ever learn to love a beast? I'll leave it at that. Now, I'm going to actually start into the actual book. This is a fairly long read. It's a full-size novel. And if my phone would, start up, we can get started. There are 19 chapters in all. I know I won't be able to get through a chapter a reading. I'm going to start off, go to probably the first section break, and comment as we go. So, again, without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. Comment below, rate, subscribe, and, well, thanks for stopping by, if nothing else. So, Chapter 1, The Vindicator. And I'll probably break things up. For instance, this first section, or the first part of this section, is italics. It's a quote. No real indication of who said it. So, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People like me know better. In reality, it's paved with blood. In a hallway in hell there was a closet. It was hidden at the end of the darkest corridor, away from the prying eyes of hell's vermin. It was not used for clothing, hats, or shoes, but was forgotten by all. Well, most everyone, except its owner. It was for this reason that she chose it as her home. The less she was seen, the better, but a low profile could only do so much for one with such a famous father. Like the owner, the closet was humble in almost every way. Nope. She was not content, though, to remain there for the rest of her days. The first rays of the morning sun came through his window to wake him, as they had on previous days. It had been another all-nighter. He slept in his clothes at his desk. That's the section break. There's no indication that you change character perspectives from one paragraph to another. It's very jarring. And, you go from the character that this book is centered around, Morgalla, to, well, this next character. We'll get to him. He certainly looked and smelled like he had slept there. His eyes hurt from the rays upon his face. His hand went up by instinct. He rose and rubbed the fatigue from his eyes. What day is it again? That was in italics. He had to think a moment, and then it came to him. He was a man of advanced years and clearly not human. He had spent his entire life, over a century, fighting, along with everyone else on his homeworld. Even after he lost his leg, the fight continued, but in the science lab. He hobbled to the coffee machine. The pot was stained and had not been cleaned in days. Ew. Okay, I'm going to stop there. There are two things in that section that really struck me the first time I read this. Specifically, one. He was a man of advanced years, and clearly not a human. Clearly. But we don't know what he looks like. This is the only description that we ever get of him. He's clearly not a human. What is clearly not a human? The character has two legs, as far as we can tell. One that was lost during the war, during this century of fighting. And there's coffee. I don't know about you, but I can only think of one planet where coffee is grown, where coffee is drank. Our wonderful little planet. And crap, I can't drink coffee while I have this on, can I? Oh well. So, we have a nondescript character. We don't know his name. I mean, it could be that he's major or minor to the story. We don't know yet. But, again, a man of advanced years and clearly not human. A man, in this case, doesn't appear to just indicate sex. To me, it shows this character is a human man. But in the same sentence, of course, he's clearly not human. We don't know what he is. But we're getting there. So, he looked to the computer, finally noticing the flashing red letters on the screen. Intruder alert. He nearly fell over from the shock. I don't know about you, but if there was a point where there was an intruder alert and I was somewhere in the midst of it, I would know immediately. Because if there's an intruder, alarms are going off everywhere. But this guy looking for coffee is clearly clueless. No. Continuing. He heard sirens outside, off in the distance, and then voices out in the hallway. Only one, a woman's voice said. There can be only one. No. He held his chest in fright as he spun around to see her sitting there. The morning light was not shining on that side of the room, but he could see her lavender eyes in the shadows. The indication that you have light coming through a window suggests that the room is fully lit. We have no idea the size or dimensions of this room, only that it's a science lab. The reason I say this is as follows. She was small and humanoid in appearance, and wore all black for stealth. I don't know about you, but black doesn't work in a daylight setting, in a morning setting, in an evening setting, because it's too obvious. If it wasn't her eyes that screamed what she was, the horns were a dead giveaway. They were black and polished, curving up to her temples to a point. Her hair was long and dark orange, and her skin was the same color, but much paler. His eyes were locked upon her, and she could only see his fear. She could not only see his fear, but feel it. His blue skin seemed to shock itself into a lighter shade. He looked to the keyboard. One button could summon help. You and your friends would not be able to escape, he said. So, we have a bit. This character, this scientist, has blue skin. He's obviously not human because he has blue skin. He must look like a human because this is all the description you ever get of him. One button could, and this I'm going back to where I ended. One button could summon help. You and your friends would not be able to escape, he said. This is an enemy that his people have been fighting for a century. There wouldn't be a discussion. If you have an enemy who you know will kill you, you wouldn't wait. You wouldn't question it. You would summon help immediately. You wouldn't talk. But maybe I'm being a little too overcritical. Let's move on. There's only me, she replied, sitting in the large chair, her voice completely calm. You're too late anyway. You can kill me, but you won't. I'm not here for that, she said. She didn't interrupt. She said it. Annoyed that he assumed what she was there for. Annoyed that he would assume that she's a demon and that she wants to kill him. That's not a very far-off assumption. Revenge, then, he stated. That's what you're here for. Look, if you'll just be quiet for a moment, I'd love to have a more productive conversation. Standing looks uncomfortable for you. Why not sit? He was stunned, but tried not to show it. He knew, though, that she could tell what he was feeling. He did as suggested, sitting in the office chair as she sat comfortably across from him. How many did you make? She inquired with great interest. The Vindicator has already been given to the authorities. You would need an army to get it back. That's not what I asked. Why not just take the information from the computer? I'm not good with those things, she admitted. I'm also clueless when it comes to physics, distorting time and space. Crap like that. Most of your kind are the same. I'm also, she continued, not in the mood to spend 20 years learning how to build one of those things. Build is in italics. Patience is not one of my virtues. You're not like other demons, he said. Usually you would have tortured me into telling. I'll take that as a compliment. You know, the Vindicator originally started off as a weapon to kill your kind. Italics. He stood and hobbled to the wall where a set of blueprints was hung. Were hung? But you found a different purpose, didn't you? Your kind and hell are connected, aren't they? The older ones, yes. Italics. Not a quote either. The less you know, the better, she said, sitting completely still. Did you make a second one? It would be pointless for me to lie. Yes, she assured him. Why would it be pointless for him to lie? Even if he told the truth, but only half a truth, that wouldn't be considered a lie. He could still protect this Vindicator by deceiving her. Not necessarily lying to her, but not giving her the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, again, enemies. For 100 years. Not only is he talking to her, but he's giving her information. Giving it freely. Near the end of their war. So, again, I'm not here for revenge. Surely Zorach doesn't want it. Zorach is in italics, but this is a character that we will see again. Don't tell me you can read people's souls now, she smirked, the first sign of emotion. No, it's something called logic. Your people already took the first one. Already took the first one. These demons are rather inept, aren't they? This object, this Vindicator, will win them the war, yet they only managed to take one. If they managed to take one, why not put out the effort to grab the other one as well? Anyway. He looked back at her, and was quite confident with his words. Her face changed upon hearing him. What? And it's pointless to kill me, he continued. All information has been copied, and we'll share it with whoever wants it, to defend themselves against your kind. Wait, she said, standing. What do you mean? You people already took one of them. They're demons, they're not people. I'm not sure which one. Security has been doubled around the other one. Oh, doubled security. That'll do a heck of a lot against demons. It was then that he realized just how short and young she was. She had to have been barely out of her teens and into young adulthood. I'll assume 21. The way she spoke made her seem older, though. What she was thinking was also written on her face. Her mind considered who might have taken it. The list was very short. What is it? He asked. Dr. Morrow. A hypothetical question for you, she went on, snapping out of her trance. What if someone from hell wanted to walk through a door and lock it behind them? But you would not be able to live here, on Baladon, he observed, to which she responded only with silence. It would be too dangerous. You would need a world with humans on it. There's no way you could blend in here. There's an implication there. You would need a world with humans on it. it implies that there's more than one. Or if there's only one, that just doesn't make sense in this case. You would need a world with humans on it. A world. Rather than you would need to go to the world with humans on it. Okay, so another implication. Multiple worlds, multiple humans. But again, we at least now know the name of the blue-skinned people world. Baladon. There's no way you could blend in here. He knows a lot about my species. Italics. Her eyes moved to the door for a moment upon hearing people running outside in the hall. The doctor's eyes stayed on her. All I have to do is call for help, he warned. If he was going to do it, he would have done it immediately. You don't have to do that, she said. Or she replied. There's nothing else here for me. The Vindicator X1 will save my world. Do you intend to use the X2 to save another? I'm not the hero type. I'm just trying to survive. You would be a hero to them, the first of your kind, I'm sure. The door opened, and the doctor looked to the security guards, who entered with weapons drawn. Dr. Morrow looked back to see that the demon was gone. It was only then that he realized the window was open. Batman. John took a Batman scene and essentially converted it to Morgana. And again, it's daylight, the window's open, black clothes. If security actually knew what the heck they were doing, they could have found her, got her, killed her, etc. But, again, this is the introduction. There should be a hook here somewhere to draw you deeper. I haven't found one yet. Doctor, was there someone here? This is the guards speaking. It doesn't matter, he said to the officer. Today our war with hell ends. He had to sit again to rest his leg, not to mention that he was still deprived of his coffee. On an alien planet. Coffee. Yeah, I know, it's nitpicky, but it's bits like this that really turn this book into something less than what it potentially could have been. She could have killed me at any time, but she didn't. Obviously. That was in italics. She didn't have much time to get home. They would be using the device soon, and if that happened, she would be trapped on Baladon forever. A list of names ran through her head of who might be daring enough to attempt to grab the second Vindicator. She only hoped her first hunch was right. She said this before. It's just essentially a repeat of something previously in this section. So, we're hitting 17 minutes. That's the end of the first reading, because there's a section break here. So what have we learned so far? We've learned that there is a demon race that is essentially a group of warmongers that will wage war for hundreds and hundreds of years, for, 100 years at least, to do something. We don't know why the demons are waging war on Baladon. We also know that what appears to be technology is winning the fight here. This device, this Vindicator, is going to lock Baladon off from the demons, or it's going to cause some sort of a rift or something that's not going to allow demons to come to this world. We know that the Baladonians have blue skin, that they're not human, obviously, but that the demons also look a lot like humans, only with horns, colored skin, and weird colored hair. What else have we learned? That this planet has coffee. I don't know about you, but maybe there was something that evolved into the same niche as coffee, but it certainly wouldn't be coffee. Again, nitpicking. So that's the end of the first reading. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you guys think it needs annotations to say when I'm reading versus when I'm commenting, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. I mean, when I'm staring at my phone, you can pretty much tell when I'm reading. But again, tell me what you think. Tell me if I missed something. There was relatively little going on with this first section, but we'll get into the next section in number 2. So have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Na zdravo, na zdravie. Peace.